Over 70% of people buying homes in Florida's hottest cities have no idea what's actually waiting for them on the other side of closing day. I dug into the data, the real numbers on insurance costs, HOA fees, condo assessments, and inventory pileups, and what I found will make you seriously rethink everything you thought you knew about the Sunshine State real estate dream. The palm trees are still standing. The sunsets are still gorgeous. But if you look a little closer, past the vacation photos and the realtor highlight reels, you are going to see something that a lot of people are desperately trying not to talk about. Florida, the promised land of sunshine and cheap living, the state that became the most moved-to destination in America during the pandemic, is cracking. And not in a subtle, slow burn kind of way. We are talking about surging inventory, insurance premiums that are wiping out entire budgets, condo towers hit with million-dollar assessments, and neighborhoods where the for sale signs have been standing so long they are starting to bleach in the sun. Today we are driving through the top cities in Florida where the real estate market is quietly, and in some cases not so quietly, falling apart. These are the cities where the math stopped working, the buyers disappeared, and the sellers are left staring at their Zillow notifications like they're waiting for a text that is never coming. Stick around for the top 2 entries on this list, because those are the markets where the financial wreckage is so deep and so wide, it will genuinely shock you. But before we get into it, I want to know, have you personally seen price reductions or listings sitting dead in the water in your area? Drop it in the comments. And if you are new here, please subscribe and hit the like button because it helps this channel reach more people who need to hear this information. Now let's talk about what is really going on in the Sunshine State, because the sun is still shining, but a lot of wallets are getting burned. Number 10, Jacksonville. Jacksonville is the largest city by land area in the continental United States, and right now, it is producing one of the largest buildups of unsold inventory in the Southeast. This was supposed to be the blue-collar answer to Miami's glitz, affordable, growing, with a booming job market. And for a while, it was exactly that. But the pandemic-era migration wave brought in more buyers, more developers, and more construction than the market could organically absorb. Now the bill is coming due. According to Redfin, active listings in the Jacksonville metro have increased by over 55% year over year. That is not a blip. That is a market in retreat. The median days on market have stretched past 65 days, which for a city that was moving homes in under 2 weeks just a couple of years ago, feels like a completely different universe. Here is the ugly truth. A lot of the new construction that flooded Jacksonville between 2021 and 2023 was not built for long-term residents. It was built for investors chasing the short-term rental wave and the remote work migration crowd. Now that crowd has thinned, those properties are sitting. Zillow data shows that nearly 28% of listings in certain Jacksonville zip codes have had at least one price reduction. New construction builders are offering incentives, rate buy-downs, appliance packages, closing cost assistance, just to move units. Meanwhile, insurance costs are quietly destroying the affordability story. Florida homeowners in Duval County are now paying anywhere between $3,500 and $6,000 a year for property insurance, according to the Florida Insurance Information Institute. That is double what it was 5 years ago. Jacksonville still has potential, but right now it is a market in a serious identity crisis. Number 9, Ocala. Ocala became a darling of the pandemic real estate migration. It was the quiet, affordable alternative, horse country, no state income tax, a short drive to everything. And then investors discovered it. And then developers discovered it. And now Ocala is experiencing a reckoning that is textbook overbuilding meets disappearing demand. The inventory situation here is alarming for a market this size. According to local MLS data, active listings have jumped by nearly 60% compared to 18 months ago. For a market that sits at roughly 400,000 people, that is an enormous glut. The absorption rate has cratered. Homes that would have been under contract in days are now sitting for 80 or 90 days without a serious offer. What went wrong? The same story you see across small to mid-sized Florida cities. Speculative buying drove prices to levels that are genuinely disconnected from local wages. The Marion County median household income hovers around $52,000 per year, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, but the median home price climbed past $280,000 during the boom. The math does not work for local buyers. And the investors who piled in during the low-rate environment are now staring at 7% mortgages and insurance bills that have ballooned by 40 to 50%. The exit is crowded. Sellers are cutting prices and still not finding takers. Ocala still has a lot going for it, but the days of treating it like a guaranteed investment goldmine are clearly over. Number 8. Cape Coral. Cape Coral is one of the most canal-dense cities in the world. It is also one of the most exposed real estate markets in the state of Florida right now. This city got absolutely hammered by Hurricane Ian in late 2022, and the recovery process has been a slow, expensive, and deeply uneven experience that has fundamentally changed how buyers and insurers look at this market. The insurance crisis here is not a problem, it is a catastrophe. Several major carriers have either pulled out of Lee County entirely or repriced their policies so aggressively that they are unaffordable for average homeowners. According to reporting from the Tampa Bay Times, some Cape Coral homeowners are seeing annual insurance premiums jump to $10,000, $12,000, or even higher for canal front properties. When your insurance costs more per month than many people's car payments, the buyer pool shrinks to almost nothing. Active listings are at elevated levels, with Redfin tracking year-over-year increases in inventory well above 40%. The cash buyers who swooped in after Ian are now trying to sell into a market where finance buyers cannot afford the carrying costs. Days on market are stretching past 75 days for mid-range properties. Price cuts are everywhere. Zillow shows that in certain Cape Coral zip codes, the share of listings with price reductions is approaching 30%. This is a city where flood zone maps, insurance quotes, and elevation certificates are now as important as the listing price. The dream of canal front living at an affordable price is being replaced by the nightmare of carrying costs that never stop growing. Number 7. Sarasota. Sarasota is the arts town, the cultured Florida escape, the place where old money meets new money on the beach. And for a long time, that positioning allowed Sarasota to act like the laws of real estate gravity did not apply to it. That era is ending. What is happening in Sarasota right now is a classic case of a luxury and upper mid-market that simply ran out of buyers. The pandemic-era pricing pushed homes to levels that even wealthy relocators from the Northeast are now hesitating over. According to Redfin, the median sale price in the Sarasota metro is hovering around $450,000, but transactions are noticeably slower. Sales volume is down, and the days on market have extended significantly, now pushing past 70 days for many single-family listings. The condo market here is a particular pressure point. In the wake of the Surfside collapse and the subsequent Florida condo safety legislation, older buildings across Sarasota are being hit with massive special assessments to fund required structural inspections and repairs. Some condo owners are receiving assessment notices in the six figures. Naturally, many of them immediately put their units on the market, flooding an already fragile segment. The result is a condo inventory situation that is genuinely difficult to navigate as a seller. Insurance is crushing buyers here too. The Sarasota Herald-Tribune has covered multiple cases of listings falling apart at the closing table because buyers could not secure affordable homeowners insurance. When a deal dies because of an insurance quote, that is a systemic problem, not a one-off. Sarasota is still beautiful, but beautiful does not pay your HOA fees. Number 6. Kissimmee and the Greater Orlando Vacation Corridor. This one might surprise you. Orlando and the surrounding vacation corridor, Kissimmee, Davenport, Claremont, had one of the most ferocious real estate runs in the entire country. Cheap land, proximity to Disney and Universal, a massive short-term rental market, and a constant flow of tourists made the math look undeniable. But the short-term rental gold rush has turned into a very messy hangover. The Osceola County and Polk County markets are drowning in inventory. According to AirDNA data, short-term rental occupancy rates in the Four Corners area, the zone just southwest of Disney, have dropped significantly, with revenue per available rental unit falling year over year for the first time since the pandemic. Investors who bought $350,000 vacation homes expecting $40,000 in annual rental income are now generating far less, while their mortgage, insurance, and HOA costs have all risen. The exit is extremely crowded. Redfin data shows active listings up 50% or more in certain Kissimmee zip codes. These are cookie-cutter vacation homes in gated communities with resort-style pools, and right now they are stacking up like an unsold inventory warehouse. Days on market have pushed past 80 days for many of these properties. The local realtors describe it as a market that has completely flipped from frenzied to frozen in under 24 months. When you own an investment property and it stops generating income but keeps generating expenses, you sell. And right now, everyone is selling at the same time. Number 5. Fort Myers. Fort Myers was ground zero for Hurricane Ian's destruction, and while the city has made visible progress in its recovery, the real estate market is carrying scars that will take years to fully heal. What is happening here is a two-speed market, where recovered and renovated properties are sitting at prices that the available buyer pool simply cannot sustain, while distressed or unrestored properties are being quietly unloaded at discounts. The insurance market in Lee County is broken. There is no polite way to say it. The Florida Market Assistance Plan has seen a significant increase in applicants from Lee County because private carriers continue to exit the market or price coverage at levels that make homeownership economically unviable. When a $300,000 home comes with a $15,000 annual insurance bill, you have a product that no reasonable buyer can justify. Inventory is elevated and absorption is slow. The mid-market, homes priced between $300,000 and $550,000, is especially congested with listings that have been sitting for 90 days or longer. Price cuts are widespread. Sellers who bought or rebuilt post-Ian at high costs are discovering that buyers are willing to wait, negotiate hard, or simply walk away. Fort Myers still has real long-term value, but the short-term picture is a market that is grinding through a painful reset that has no clean or fast resolution. Number 4. Naples. Naples is Florida's version of a luxury bubble. This is the market where retired executives and wealthy snowbirds paid absolutely stratospheric prices during the pandemic, and now many of them are having serious second thoughts. The inventory surge at the high end of the Naples market is significant. According to the Naples Area Board of Realtors, active inventory has climbed sharply, with luxury homes, properties above $2 million, seeing some of the longest days on market statistics in the city's recent history. The dynamic here is similar to what you see in high-end mountain markets. Sellers who do not need to sell will not cut their price, but buyers who do not need to buy will not overpay. The result is a stalemate where beautiful waterfront estates sit on the market for 6, 8, 10 months without a single serious offer. The insurance reality is hitting Naples hard too. Waterfront properties, the ones that define the luxury appeal of this market, are also the ones facing the most severe insurance challenges. Some owners are paying $30,000, $40,000 or more per year just to cover their property, according to local insurance brokers cited in the Naples Daily News. Add property taxes and HOA fees to that, and the annual carrying cost on a $5 million home becomes a number that makes even wealthy people flinch. The lifestyle is still there. The problem is that the financial architecture holding up the market is looking increasingly unstable. Number 3. St. Petersburg. St. Pete has been the hip, walkable, arts-forward city that was supposed to be recession-proof because of its demographics and desirability. And on the surface, it still looks that way. But underneath the trendy coffee shops and rooftop bars, the condo market in St. Petersburg is under enormous stress, and it is almost entirely driven by the post-Surfside legislation. Older condo buildings across Pinellas County are being hit with structural reserve funding requirements that are generating assessments that owners simply were not prepared for. Local attorneys and real estate agents have documented cases where condo owners in mid-century buildings received special assessment notices ranging from $50,000 to over $150,000. For retirees on fixed incomes who bought into these buildings as affordable retirement housing, the news has been devastating. The result is a flood of condo listings in older St. Pete buildings, properties that buyers are now extremely cautious about. Financing these units has become difficult because lenders are scrutinizing condo building health reports. Some units simply cannot get conventional financing at all, which limits the buyer pool to cash buyers who want a deep discount. Inventory in the condo segment is up substantially, days on market are extended, and prices are under real downward pressure in affected buildings. St. Pete remains a desirable city, but the condo market is going through a correction that is forcing everyone to confront a reckoning that was years in the making. Number 2. Tampa. Tampa was the ultimate pandemic real estate success story. Population booms, business relocations, sports championships, and a tech sector migration made it feel unstoppable. But what goes up on a tidal wave of cheap money and speculation eventually has to find its natural level. And Tampa is currently finding that level, slowly and painfully. Active listings across Hillsborough County have increased dramatically. Redfin data shows year-over-year inventory growth in the range of 45 to 55%, depending on the segment. The investor class, which bought heavily into Tampa single-family homes for short-term and long-term rental purposes, is now facing a triple threat: insurance costs that have doubled, property taxes that were reassessed at peak values, and rent growth that is stalled because the rental market itself is now oversupplied. Price reductions are proliferating. Zillow shows that in many Tampa zip codes, over 25% of active listings have seen at least one price cut. New construction is adding further pressure as national home builders who started projects at the peak of the boom are now completing them into a softening market and offering aggressive incentives to compete. The luxury condo towers going up along the waterfront are also facing a skeptical buyer pool. When you can buy a pre-existing home at a reduced price with seller concessions, the appeal of locking into a new construction condo at $700 per square foot is limited. Tampa's fundamentals are genuinely strong long-term, but the short-term picture is a market digesting years of excess in a very uncomfortable and expensive way. Number 1. Miami. Miami is not just a city, it is a brand. It is a global status symbol. It is the place where South American wealth, European glamour, and American ambition collide on a strip of barrier island that is, by all scientific consensus, also slowly sinking into the sea. And that is not just a metaphor for the real estate market. It is a literal physical reality that is now influencing insurance, financing, and buyer psychology in ways that are reshaping this market from the ground up. The luxury condo market in Miami is stacked with inventory. According to the Miami Association of Realtors, the supply of luxury condos, units priced above $1 million, has reached levels that represent a significant imbalance. Days on market for high-end properties are stretching past 120 days. Sellers who bought at 2022 peak prices are facing the humbling reality that the buyer pool capable of absorbing this supply is not as deep or as eager as it once appeared. The insurance situation in Miami-Dade County is the most severe in the state. Coastal and waterfront properties are seeing annual insurance premiums that can match or exceed the monthly mortgage payment on a mid-range home. Several national insurers have exited the state entirely, and Citizens Property Insurance, the state-backed insurer of last resort, has been working aggressively to depopulate its roles, pushing homeowners into a private market that is charging extraordinary rates. There is also the sea level rise factor. A 2024 analysis by First Street Foundation and widely covered in the Miami Herald estimated that a significant portion of Miami-Dade properties now carry measurable climate risk exposure. Mortgage lenders are beginning to price that risk into their underwriting decisions, which affects what buyers can borrow and what they are willing to pay. Then there is the condo assessment crisis. Post-Surfside, hundreds of older buildings across Miami Beach and mainland Miami are working through required inspections and reserve studies, with results that are generating massive assessments for owners. Some of these buildings are effectively unsellable until the financial picture is resolved. Miami is still Miami. The energy is real. The international appeal is real. But the financial infrastructure underneath that glamour is creaking loudly, and the real estate market is beginning to tell that story in the only language markets understand: price reductions, rising inventory, and deals that die before they close. This is not the end of Miami, but it is the end of the illusion that Miami is immune to the same economic forces that govern every other real estate market on Earth. So there you have it. From Jacksonville to Miami, across canal fronts, condo towers, vacation homes, and luxury waterfront estates, the Florida real estate dream is undergoing a correction that is real, data-driven, and accelerating. The sunshine is still there, the lifestyle is still there, but the math, the insurance math, the HOA math, the interest rate math, is forcing a reckoning that sellers, investors, and dreamers alike are going to have to face honestly. The market does not lie, the for sale signs don't lie, and the days on market counter that keeps ticking doesn't lie either. If this video gave you a clearer picture of what is really happening out there, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, share this with someone who is thinking about buying or selling in Florida right now, and smash that like button so more people can find this content. The truth about real estate is not always pretty, but knowing it is the only way to protect yourself. I will see you on the next one. Stay smart and stay informed.